Hi, this is Deborah Colleen Rose, and I'm with the Council of Families for Children. And we have a support group module that we train facilitators in, and it has a really good tool that we teach our facilitators on how to manage problems and help the attendees come up with ideas on how to solve their problems. At the council, we believe that the more options you have, the better ability you have to achieve success. And we call this exercise STEP. It's a solution to every problem. So the first thing we teach is that number one, you only work on one problem at a time. You also learn from your mistakes, abandon what doesn't work, and try new approaches to the problem. Use flexible and creative thinking in looking at options. We like to tell people throw away the box, don't think outside of the box, just think. There is no idea that's too ridiculous to at least consider, and you can always choose to follow it or not follow it. And the other, and the final, and the most important is always stay open to new suggestions from others. Other people have a different way of looking at things. Sometimes they have experience, sometimes they just have a different thought process, and they can help you with coming up with ideas. The next step, the very first step, is problem definition. How do you know what the problem is? You have to be sure that you're clear what the problem is. So many times people will sit down and say, well, this is going on, and this is going on, and this is going on. And by the time they describe the whole scenario, they're actually looking at 5 or 6 or 7 different issues. And more often than not, they're focused on the one that generates the most energy, but it may not really be the core issue. How is the current situation different from what I actually want it to be? What do I actually want, or how do I actually want things to be? What is preventing me from achieving my goals or from things being the way I want them to be? So, this really is all about you at this time and figuring out what it is that you need and you want. Is this a situation that I need anyone else to cooperate with, or can I solve this by myself? The big key here is if you have to get the cooperation of others, that may be problematic. And sometimes you have to think about how you're going to compromise. It can be very helpful to write down the answers to these questions so you're forced to clarify that the problem you're defining is the actual one you want to solve. Just thinking about things in your head can cause confusion and end up distracting you from the actual problem at hand. If you're dealing with more than one problem at a time, it may be helpful to put them in priority. Breaking a situation down into a single sentence idea allows you to put them in the order of importance. That way, you can focus on each one individually and give them all the attention they require. The next step is the problem analysis. Once you've defined the problem, you need to think about it from different perspectives to ensure that you understand all the dimensions of the problem. Here are the questions that can help you analyze. How's this problem affecting me? Sometimes people think they have a problem when they don't. It's not their problem. How's this problem affecting other people? Who else is experiencing this problem? And how do other people deal with this problem? After you have completed this step, check to make sure that your definition of the problem still fits. It is common at this point to find that the problem you really want to solve is different from the one that you initially identified. Step 3, establish your goals. Once you've looked at the problem from different perspectives, you can decide what you want to achieve and establish your goals. You need to answer the very specific question, what is my immediate goal? Some examples would be improve my relationship with a child, stop arguments at dinner time, learn to control my frustration, improve my communication with my spouse. Step 4, generate possible solutions. During this stage, the goal is to generate as many possible solutions as you can. Do not worry about whether they're realistic or practical or effective. Frequently, a solution you might initially eliminate can be developed with a little work into a very effective solution. It can be very helpful to ask yourself what you've done in the past when faced with similar problems. Also, ask yourself how other people you know have dealt with these type of situations. In addition, you might also approach friends, family, a counselor, someone in your support group, books, or the internet to obtain ideas for solutions. Now, one rule that we do have, because we're working in groups in our support facilitation, is that if someone offers you an idea, you don't get to make fun of it, you don't get to poo-poo it, you don't get to say that won't work. You just thank them for the idea, and you thank them for the suggestion. You want to be sure to write down all the possibilities you generate so that you can approach this task systematically. Step 5, analyze the solution. During this step, you will examine each alternative and write down both the advantages and disadvantages to each. Some considerations to keep in mind include: is it relevant? Is it realistic? Is it manageable? What are the consequences, both good and bad? And what is the likelihood that this is going to help me reach my goal? And then step 6 is the implementation. The last step is to implement the solution you have chosen. This step includes identification of all the actions necessary to make it work. It also includes ongoing monitoring of the effectiveness of the solution to make sure it actually solves the problem. We don't want a band-aid, we want a healing. During this stage of the process, ask yourself the following questions. How effective is this? Did it achieve what I wanted? What are the consequences, again, good and bad, did it have on my situation? If the solution was successful in helping you solve your problem, then you can feel satisfied with your efforts and what you learned. If you feel dissatisfied in some way, you can either modify the solution to make it better, or you can scrap it and turn to other alternative solutions. Remember, you made that list. Go back and refer to the list, and you can even add to it if you want. Or you can begin the process all over again and start off with new ideas and new concepts. Remember that problem solving is a cycle. It involves searching for a solution to a problem that will lead to various possible solutions, which will then need to be evaluated. If the problem is solved, then you have found an effective solution. If the problem has not been solved, then you start again. Most problem management steps are similar in format, and only the acronym or names of the steps are actually different. So we didn't come up with a new wheel. However, the reason there are so many acronyms available is because we all learn and respond to things differently. So we called it STEP. Thank you. I hope you find this helpful, and we'll be back with something else soon.